Hello, and welcome back to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
I want to start with a very specific, visceral feeling.
Okay.
A feeling that I think almost everyone listening has probably experienced at least once. You're sitting there, maybe it's late, you're working.
The deadline.
Right, the deadline. Or just browsing.
Yeah.
And everything is normal, and then out of nowhere, the fan on your laptop just kicks into high gear.
The universal sound of modern anxiety. I know it well.
It's like a jet engine all of a sudden. Or the cursor starts to lag, trailing across the screen.
Like it's moving through molasses.
Yeah, but the worst one, I think, is when a window pops up that looks off. It's just a little bit wrong.
And it's asking for permission for something you definitely didn't click.
Exactly. And you get that immediate pit in your stomach, that thought of, oh no, what did I just do?
It's that realization that your machine, this tool you rely on, might not be listening to you anymore. It might be listening to someone else.
Right. And our brains, they just scramble for buzzwords. We say, I have a virus, or I got hacked.
Or is this a bug?
Yeah, we use them all interchangeably. But today, we're going to stop guessing. We're doing a deep dive into the actual mechanics of computer malware.
It's long overdue because while we all know that fear, very few of us, I think, really understand the ecosystem. And it is an ecosystem. We've got a stack of research here that covers the whole thing, the definitions, the types, how it gets in, and most importantly, how to protect yourself.
And the mission for us today is to move past that, that generic don't click weird things advice. We want to get under the hood.
Right.
We want to move you, the listener, from that vague techno-anxiety to a real, concrete understanding of what these programs are actually designed to do.
Because when you understand the mechanics, it stops being this scary, magical thing. It becomes a solvable problem.
Precisely. The goal isn't to scare you.
Although I have to admit, some of the details in the source material are pretty alarming.
They are.
But the goal is to arm you. Because knowledge really is the ultimate antivirus. If you know how the trap is set, you're much less likely to step in it.
Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. The word itself, malware.
Right.
It sounds so technical, but it's really just a portmanteau, isn't it?
It is. It's simply short for malicious software. But I think just saying that doesn't quite capture the gravity of it.
What do you mean?
The source material really emphasizes a critical distinction here. It's the concept of intent.
This is what really caught my eye because, my computer crashes, apps freeze. That's annoying, but that's not malware.
Exactly. A bug is an accident, a mistake in the code. It's sloppy, maybe, but it's innocent. Malware is the opposite of an accident.
It's weaponized code.
It's weaponized code. It was built by a person, often a very skilled person, with the specific premeditated goal of causing harm, or stealing data, or gaining access.
That framing just completely changes the emotional response, doesn't it? It's not the computer acting up, it's an active intrusion.
It is a tool. Think of it like a crowbar. You can use it to open a crate, or you can use it to break into a house. Malware is a digital crowbar designed for the break-in.
And the other key point from the definition phase is that malware is actually an umbrella term. I think this is where I and most people get tripped up. We just call everything a virus.
We do, and it drives security professionals crazy. Think of malware like the word vehicle.
Okay.
If I tell you I was injured by a vehicle, what does that mean? A bicycle.
Right.
A car. A tank.
Right. Very different levels of damage.
Exactly. They're all vehicles, but how they work and what they do are completely different. Virus is just one specific model under that big malware umbrella.
Got it. So we're going to tour their whole bestiary of threats in a bit.
We are. But before we get into the different types, we need to look at the DNA they all share. The research points out that no matter what it is, the common thread is stealth.
The sneak factor.
It has to be deceptive. I mean,
Sure.
If a program popped up and said, "Hello, I'm here to steal your bank details. Please click OK."
Nobody would do it.
Nobody would do it. So it has to operate without your informed consent. It hides, it disguises itself, or it exploits a weakness you never even knew you had.
Okay, so let's say the deception works. The code is running. What is it actually doing? I think we have this Hollywood idea of a skull and crossbones on the screen.
Laughing maniacally, right? The reality is much more pragmatic. The research breaks it down into 5 main categories of action. The payload.
And the first one is just destruction.
Digital vandalism. Deleting files, corrupting your operating system so it won't boot. In the early days of malware, this was really common. It was more about ego. Look what I can do.
But things have shifted now. It feels less about ego and more about economics.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the second, and probably the most prevalent, mechanism. Theft.
Just stealing things.
Purely transactional. The software quietly scrapes your hard drive for passwords, for financial data. It monitors your keystrokes. It's harvesting.
Which feels very similar to the third mechanism, surveillance. This is the one that really creeps me out.
It's the creepy factor, for sure. Spyware doesn't just steal a file. It can watch you create it. It tracks your web history, sees who you email.
And the notes mention it can even hijack hardware.
Yes. Turning on your webcam or your microphone without the little light coming on.
That's the nightmare scenario right there. But
Yeah.
There's a fourth one here that's technically fascinating, but also terrifying. Control.
The bot concept. This is where the attacker doesn't just want your data. They want your computer's power.
They turn your computer into a zombie.
A zombie is a perfect word for it. It still sits on your desk, you can still use it, but in the background, it's taking orders from a central server.
So my laptop could be part of an army attacking a website or sending spam, and I would have no idea.
Exactly. You're paying for the electricity and the internet, and they're using it to commit crimes.
And the final mechanism listed here is hostage taking.
Right. This is ransomware, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But the mechanism is encryption. It puts a digital padlock on all of your data and then demands money for the key.
It's an incredible range from a vandal just smashing things to someone literally changing the locks on your own front door.
It really highlights why that old argument, I have nothing to hide, is so flawed. You might not have state secrets, but you have processing power, you have money, you have an identity. To a malware developer, everyone is a resource.
That is a sobering thought. Okay, so we know what it is. Intentional weaponized code. And we know what it does. Now let's get into the specific types. Let's clarify the vocabulary.
The bestiary. Let's do it.
Let's start with the most famous one, the one everyone uses as a catch-all. The virus.
Right. And the sources are very specific here. In strict technical terms, a virus is a piece of code that infects legitimate files.
So it attaches itself to something.
It's parasitic. But here's the critical distinction. A virus needs a host, and it needs user action to spread.
User action, so I have to do something.
You have to turn the key. A virus might be in a Word document or a program. If that file just sits there, the virus is dormant.
But the second I open it...
The second you open it, the virus executes. It wakes up and tries to infect other files. But to get to a new machine, it generally relies on you sending that file to someone else. It needs a ride.
Okay, now contrast that with the next one, which sounds much scarier to me. The worm.
The worm is the virus's smarter, more independent cousin. The key differentiator here is autonomy.
Meaning?
Worms spread automatically across networks. They don't need any human help.
So it doesn't need me to click run or open a file?
No. A worm is a standalone program. Once it's on a network, it actively scans for other computers with a specific security hole. When it finds one, it just copies itself over. It crawls.
That is a huge difference. A virus waits for a handshake. A worm is actively kicking down doors.
It exploits the infrastructure itself. That's why worms are behind some of the fastest spreading cyber attacks in history. They don't wait for an invitation.
Okay, next up, the Trojan. I'm guessing the name tells us everything we need to know.
The Trojan horse.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The defining characteristic here is disguise.
So this is the download this free game, or you need to update your video player trick.
Perfect examples. It relies on social engineering. You think you're installing something useful or fun. You, the user, voluntarily run it because you've been tricked.
So a Trojan is really all about the delivery method, the packaging.
Correct. And once it's inside the gates, it opens them up for other types of malware to come in. It's the entry point.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the heavyweight champion of the last few years, ransomware.
This is the one that keeps CEOs up at night. It connects directly back to that hostage-taking mechanism. It's the most direct monetization of malware ever created, really.
So how does it actually work? It's not stealing the files, is it?
Not usually. It's encrypting them. Imagine someone puts an unbreakable safe around your filing cabinet and leaves a note saying, send $500 in Bitcoin to this address for the combination.
And it's so effective because the encryption is often like military grade. You can't just brute force it.
No. Without the unique decryption key the attacker has, your data is just scrambled noise. For a business, this can be devastating. We're talking about client databases, financial records, everything.
Yeah.
The choice is often go out of business or pay the criminal.
That's brutal. Okay, rounding out the list, we have spyware and adware. They seem to get grouped together a lot.
They're often called potentially unwanted programs, but they have different goals. Spyware is the silent stalker. It wants to stay hidden to gather intelligence passwords, corporate secrets.
Whereas adware is loud. Very loud.
Adware is the annoying salesman who won't leave your living room. It injects pop-up ads, it redirects your browser, it installs toolbars you never asked for.
Is it actually dangerous, though, or just an annoyance?
It's mostly a nuisance, but it does track your behavior to target those ads, so there is a privacy breach. And maybe more importantly, if your system let adware in, it probably has security holes that could let something much worse in.
So if you look at this whole jungle, you have ransomware screaming for money, spyware hiding in the shadows, and worms just crawling through the pipes silently.
It is chaotic. And knowing which beast you're dealing with dictates your response. But the next logical question is, how do these things actually get onto our computers in the first place?
Right, infiltration. Let's talk about the vectors.
The source material lists 4 main paths. And the first one is the biggest because it targets the weakest link in any security chain.
The human.
The human.
Phishing.
Phishing emails. The classics. Your package delivery failed. Urgent. Invoice attached.
It's all designed to bypass your logical brain and trigger panic or curiosity. You click the link or you open the attachment without really thinking, and that click is the invitation.
And that leads right into the second vector. Deceptive downloads. This is Trojan territory.
This is fake software. You search for free photo editor, you find a site that looks legit, you download it, and what you install is not what you thought it was.
Or it's bundled with it. Or it's bundled with it. Exactly. And we see this a lot in mobile app stores, too. Fake versions of popular games or utilities.
Then there's just malicious links and attachments in general, not just from email.
Right. Social media, text messages, a friend's account gets hacked and sends you a message, LOL, is this you in this video? You click the link, boom.
And the last one is the most unnerving to me. Compromised websites and ads.
This is what's sometimes called a drive-by download.
A drive-by, so I don't even have to click on anything.
You just have to be there. You visit a website, even a legitimate one that's been hacked, and it's displaying a compromised ad. The code in that ad exploits a vulnerability in your web browser, and just loading the page is enough to start the infection.
That is terrifying. It means even if you're careful about what you click, if your browser is out of date, you're still at risk just by surfing the web.
It really emphasizes that the internet is a...
Okay, so we have covered the what, the who, and the how. I want to talk about the so what, the stakes. Because people think, I'm a regular person, why would anyone target me?
That is the most dangerous fallacy in all of cybersecurity. The sources outline very specific, very tangible consequences.
First up, account and identity theft.
If malware steals your logins, the attackers can become you. They can open credit cards in your name, file false tax returns. It's a bureaucratic nightmare that can take years to unwind.
Then there's the direct financial loss.
Draining a bank account is the obvious one. But also the cost of the ransom or even the cost of the hardware itself. Some malware can brick a device, just turn it into a paperweight.
Which brings us to data loss.
Just imagine losing everything on your hard drive right now. Every photo, every document.
I don't even want to think about it.
For a lot of people, that's the reality of a ransomware attack if they can't pay. It's like your personal library burning down.
And finally, privacy breaches.
Yeah, this goes back to the nothing to hide idea. Everyone has private conversations, medical information, location history. Malware can expose all of that.
It really is personal trouble. Your reputation, your memories, your peace of mind.
Exactly. The stakes are incredibly high because so much of our life is digital now.
Okay, I am feeling sufficiently paranoid. The room feels a little colder.
Good. A little fear is a good motivator.
Yeah.
But we promised a shield.
Right. How do we fight back? The source gives us a checklist, and the good news is none of it requires a computer science degree.
No, it's basic hygiene, but it's incredibly effective.
Okay, step 1. Software defense.
Use reputable antivirus and security software. It sounds obvious, but people let their subscriptions lapse or they think they don't need it. These programs are your digital immune system.
And reputable is the key word there.
Absolutely. Stick to the big, well-known names.
Step 2. Maintenance.
Keep your device and your apps updated. All of them.
This is the one everyone ignores. I'm so guilty of this. Remind me tomorrow.
And it's such a critical mistake. When you see an update for Windows or Chrome or your phone, it's almost always full of security patches.
So explain what that means. A patch.
It means hackers found a hole in the software's wall, a vulnerability. The developers wrote code to plug that hole. That's the update. If you don't install it, you are knowingly leaving the door unlocked.
So clicking update is literally sealing the cracks in your fortress.
It's the single easiest and most effective thing you can do to stop worms and drive-by attacks.
Step 3 is about our own behavior.
This goes back to infiltration. Stop clicking blindly. Be skeptical of every link and attachment. If an email feels weird, it probably is.
And for downloads,
Only download software from trusted official sources. The official app store, the developer's actual website. Don't go to some third-party site to save a few bucks. The risk is just too high.
And finally, there is one technical recommendation the source really highlights: authentication.
Enable two-factor authentication or 2FA everywhere you possibly can.
For anyone who hasn't done this yet, why is it such a game changer?
Your password is like a key to your house. If malware steals that key, the attacker can walk right in. 2FA adds a deadbolt that needs a second, different kind of key.
Usually a code sent to your phone.
Right, a code sent to your phone or from an app. So even if the malware steals your password,
They still can't get in.
they can't get in because they don't have your physical phone to get that second code. It completely breaks the attack chain.
Yeah.
For your email, your bank, your social media. Turn it on today.
That is a clear call to action. Okay, let's recap the journey here. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. We defined malware not as a bug, but as software with malicious intent.
We navigated the bestiary: viruses that need a host, worms that travel on their own, Trojans that trick us.
And ransomware that holds data hostage.
And we identified how they get in phishing fake downloads. But most importantly, we built a defense strategy.
Updates to patch the holes, antivirus to catch the intruders, and two-factor authentication to lock the doors.
It's a comprehensive strategy that moves you from being a passive victim to an active defender.
It is.
You know, before this, I really did think of malware as just bad weather, something that happens to you. But looking at all this, it feels much more like a conflict.
It's an arms race, an active conflict between attackers and defenders. But the good news is the tools for defense are available to everyone.
And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought. Something that really struck me from the research on intent.
Go on.
We treat the internet like a utility, like tap water. We just trust it. But malware reminds us that the internet is just a collection of code written by people. And some of that code has bad intentions.
That's a profound shift in perspective.
So what if you started looking at every unknown link, every free download button, and every unsolicited attachment not as a digital object, but as a potential weapon crafted by a stranger? How would that change the way you click?
A healthy dose of suspicion goes a long way.
It certainly does. Stay safe out there, keep your shields up, and we will see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye.